Hey, Magic fans, welcome back. This is your captain speaking here on Capnclydes MTG. Boy, we got a doozy today. They unleashed the floodgates for Tarkir Dragonstorm. Jeez, Lord have mercy. So many spoilers and leaks. So, before we get into it, don't forget, comment, like, subscribe. Links in the description. Support the channel, become a YouTube member. Deep breath. We're going to have to get into it. So, first thing we're going to do, we're going to talk a little bit about special guests. So we have Ruinous Ultimatum. So all the ultimatums got their special guest. Not the best thing in the world, but things could be worse. So this is from Ikoria, I believe, getting the reprints. We have the rest of them here. One for every color, and it kind of makes sense. This is the 3-color factions that were in Tarkir. So yeah, this is fine. So we have this as a special guest, which isn't so bad. And then the other special guest cards, well, there they are. Fetch lands. Dun, 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 dun. So we have all the fetch lands in Tarkir. Here is one group of the prettiest of fetch lands. Oh my lord. Imagine what these foils are going to look like. And let's not forget, there's also going to be dragon scale foils. That's going to be sweet. Basically have dragon scaling over the card. So we have these fetch lands, and here's the last two. Good old Misty and Scald Tarn. Notice here, these are not the friend fetch lands. Flooded Strand and things like that. These are the enemy. The 10 enemy lands. So interesting. We got another reprint of those already, but it was friend fetches last time in Tarkir, and the last reprint, Modern Horizons 2, was also friend fetches, so they probably didn't want to reprint those again. But to be fair, these are special guest cards. And not real fetches that you'll be pulling out of every box. So this is also going to keep these cards a little pricey. So there you have that. So after that, we have a brief description of the extra cards inside the commander decks. We see every deck's going to have an arcane signet, a soul ring, and a command tower. Gee, who would have thought? And then we have all these extra cards. We have Elisha, Threefold Master, white, red, and blue for a 1/1 trample with prowess. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it gets +1/+1 in turn. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you create that many 1/1 white monk tokens with prowess. Wow. The Teamer 1, red, blue, and green, is the 2/2 that whenever you cast a creature spell, play +1/+1 counter on this card. If it's 4 or greater, you also get to draw a card. If that spell's power is 6 or greater, it deals damage equal to its power to each opponent. That seems a bit rough and very good. We then over here have an Asban. We have green, black, white, and 1 for an 0/5. If you don't remember, Asban is all about butt fighting. So we have Falthor the Steadfast. Each creature you control assigns combat damage as well as its toughness rather than its power. Creatures you control can attack as though they didn't have a defender. Again, walls. Sacrifice another creature. Draw cards equal to the sacrificed creature's toughness. Then discard cards equal to its power. I.e., sacrifice an 0/5. Draw 5. Discard nothing. This also seems bananas. Then we have Kotis, Sibsig Champion. Whatever that means. Anyway. This is Sultai, blue, green, and black for a 3/3. Once during each of your turns, you may cast a creature spell from your graveyard by exiling 3 other cards from your graveyard in addition to paying other costs. Whenever one or more creatures you control enter, if one or more of them entered from a graveyard or was cast from a graveyard, put 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Bloodghast. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway. Next, we have Narev, the Cackling Vanguard, Mardu, black, white, red, and 2 for a 4/4 flying Death Toucher. When it enters, you get 2 1/1 red goblin tokens. Because Mardu goblins are always around dragons, I guess. Whenever it attacks, exile a number of cards from the top of your library equal to the number of differently named tokens you control, which is weird. During your turn, during any turn you attacked with a commander, you may play those cards. Next, we have Shaiko and Narset Unified. I don't like this Narset. It looks like she's aged beyond her years. And maybe that's the thing. I didn't read the story. I don't know. If it is true, I feel sorry for my boy Sarkin because he's still looking fine. Anyway, white, red, blue, and 1 for 4/4 flying vigilance. It has Flurry. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, copy that spell if it targets a permanent or player, and you may choose new targets for the copy. If you don't copy a spell this way, draw a card. Pretty cool that it has multiple things it can do no matter what happens. Next, we have Urini, the Unwritten, red, blue, green, and 4 colorless for a 7/7 flying trample. That's a big flampler. Whenever he enters or attacks, look at the top 8 cards of your library. You may put a dragon creature card from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. This is amazing for a commander. Yeah. Anyway. And then finally we have good old Zurgo. And I don't know what happened to him. He looks way different. I don't know. It's kind of creepy. I'm not going to lie. Anyway. This Mardu card, black, white, and red for a 3/3 has Mobilize 1, which Mobilize in this set is whenever the creature attacks, you create a tapped and attacking 1/1. This is a warrior token on this one. You sacrifice it beginning the next end step. So Mobilize is basically just creatures come in and attack with them. Now, whenever a creature token you control leaves the battlefield, draw a card if it was attacking. Otherwise, each opponent loses 1 life. So this basically says draw a card when you attack. And yeah. Now also in an Aristocrats deck, this thing is bananas because there's tons of tokens in those decks, or just in a token deck in general. I mean, Jesus, holy cow! All right, so we've done special guests, we've covered Commander. Now we're going to go deep, real deep, into the actual set cards. So, we're going to start with basic lands. This is the special full art land, which I'm on board for this. These are sexy. I love the theme, the whole dragon looking at you. This is the eyeball, his pupils, the mana symbol. Phenomenal. So there's the mountain and the forest. We got the other 3 here. We have plains, island, and swamp. This looks like it's purple, but whatever. Next, we have that's your basic lands. I mean, nothing too cool. There's a dragon in the mountain, which is kind of neat. But other than that, nothing really special going on here. Also, we have full art lands. You can see here with dragon shadows. So that's also cool. Not going to deny I don't like these. And then we have the last 2 here, again, with the Dragon Shadow. It kind of looks like Ugin, but I could be wrong. Anyway. So, as we get into the main set, we have Encroaching Dragonstorm, a green and 3 enchantment. When this enchantment enters, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them on the battlefield, tap. Wow. When a dragon you control enters, return its enchantment to its owner's hand. So just ramp for days over and over. This is going to be very popular in Commander. Next, we have Channeled Dragonfire. 1 red sorcery, deal 2 damage to any target. Harmonize 2 red and 5. So we'll check later to make sure if I remember this correctly, though. Harmonize is if you exile a card from your graveyard, you can reduce the colorless casting cost by certain amount, and that amount is based on that. I think it's a creature, and it reduces the casting cost by the creature's power, I think, but we'll check on that. But so this could be one red, 2 damage, 2 red, 2 damage, which is not bad as a sorcery when you just want to burn somebody out. Next here we have Bloom Vine Regent. Look at that, another beautiful card that goes into exile for all the fairy tale folk. So this is a 2 green and 3 flyer that whenever this creature or another dragon you control enters, you gain 3 life for a 4/5. Not bad. But also for a green and 2 has claimed territory. Search your library for 2 basic forest cards. Reveal them, one on the battlefield, tap, the other into your hand. This is probably the ultimate ramp make a dude spell. Pretty amazing. So, yeah. Next, we have Strategic Betrayal, black and 1 sorcery. Target opponent exiles a creature they control and their graveyard. So, this is going to pick up right where white left off with Graveyard Hate for the black decks. Not only you get to kill their creature, you get to exile their entire graveyard at the same time. This is also going to be very popular. Next, we have Static Snare, a white and 4 with flash. Costs 1 less to cast for each attacking creature, so you could get this down to 1 white. When it enters, you exile target artifact or creature an opponent controls till the enchantment leaves the battlefield. Only okay. I mean, we have other spells that exile permanents. Since this only targets artifacts or creatures, a little less powerful. Next, we have the Temur Battle Crier. Red, blue, and green for a 4/3. During your turn, spells you cast cost 1 less colorless to cast for each creature you control power 4 or greater, i.e. this is 4/3, so therefore everything's cheaper. Pretty good rare. Not bad for the casting cost. Maybe a bit much, being 3 colors, but for standard, this may be a thing. Next, we have Boulder-Born Dragon. 5 colorless, 3/3 dragon, flying and vigilance. Whenever this creature attacks, surveil 1. Sweet common. Probably only good and limited, but hey, who cares? Next, we have the Devoted Duelist. Red and 1 for a 2/1 with haste. It has Flurry. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent. Flying for an uncommon. Probably going to be best in limited. Taval, Arbiter of Virtue. Blue, green, black, and 2 for a 6/6 flying lifelinker. This bad boy, or girl, spells you cast have Delve. Holy cow. This is going to be very, very expensive card. All your stuff has Delve. Now, Delve only works till the graveyard's empty, but making everything cheap is still making everything cheap. Whenever you cast a spell, you lose life equal to its mana cost. However, is a big drawback that this has. But, I mean, there's plenty of stuff that you gain life from the more spells you cast, so, we'll see. It also has lifelink, by the way. Next, we have the Temur Monument. So, 2 colorless. When this artifact enters, search for a basic forest, island, or mountain card. Reveal it, put it into your hand. So, mana fixing. For 6 mana, the Temur colors and 3 colors. You sacrifice it and get a 5/5 green elephant creature token. Only activate as a sorcery. It is still a 2 mana ramp spell that can be used in a mono red or a mono blue deck. So yeah, mana fixing probably at its finest without it actually being a good rock for 2, which I doubt we'll see 2 mana rocks for a very long time, if ever. Then we have the Mardu Monument. Does the same thing except for the mountain, plains, and swamps. Now, for 5 mana, you can sacrifice it. You create 3 1/1 red warrior creature tokens. They gain menace and haste at the end of turn. These are pretty much the charms, except they do mana fixing. We move on to the next one. We have the Sultai Monument. You get the same thing: swamp, forest, or island. When you sacrifice it, you get 2/2 black zombie druid creature tokens. If you watched the previous video about druids, yeah, this is going to be sweet in that commander deck. Next, we have the Jeskai Monument, Island, Mountain, Plains, of course, for 4 mana. It takes sacrifice this to get 2 1/1 white bird creatures with flying. Not the best, but it is cheaper. Still mana fixing. We also have the Abzan Monument. Get their lands. This is also 4 mana. Green, black, white, and 1. You sacrifice it, create an XX white spirit creature token where X is the greatest toughness among creatures you control. Obviously, because you're playing the butt fight deck, that's why this is targeted that way. So moving on, we have the Purging Storm Brood. So it is an omen. Oh wait, these are not like the fairy tale ones. It says, then shuffle this card into its owner's library. Ooh, so you get, okay, you could cast these over and over. Anyway, black 4 colorless for a 4/4 flying ward pay 2 life dragon. When it enters, remove all counters from up to 1 target creature. Pretty cool. Target creature gets +2/+2, gains lifelink and hexproof to end of turn. This is going to be amazing because it's protect the queen kind of stuff that goes back into your deck to be drawn again. Ew. This is going to be a problem. Next, we have Marshal of the Lost. Black, white, and 2 for a 3/3 Death Toucher. Whenever you attack, target creature gets +X/+X in a turn where X is the number of attacking creatures. I mean, that's fine. It has Death Touch already. Not terrible. Probably won't see anything other than limited play, but whatever. We have the Reigning Victor. It's an Oak Warrior Immobilize 1. So for 2 colorless 3 times, so 6 colorless, or any combination of a black, white, or red, which reduces the casting cost by 2, gives you a 3/3 Mobilize 1. When this creature enters, target creature gets +1/+0 to end of turn, or +1/+0 and gains indestructible to end of turn. So pretty cool. Good for limited. Decent common. Next, we have Yothin Tomb Guard. Black 2 for a 2/3 with Menace. Whenever a creature you control with a counter on it deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card and lose a life. That's kind of cool for a 2/3. Good for limited, I believe. Salt Road Pack Beast. Looks like a dragon with legs. Anyway, Dragon Camel. White and 5 colorless for 4/3. Spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature you control. Okay. When it enters, draw a card. Oh, this is going straight into White Weenie. Holy cow. I have 5 creatures on turn 3. Here's 1 white for a 4/3 draw card. Wow, is this going to be good? Wow. Holy crap. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, watch this thing. Popper All-Star. Ringing Strike Mastery, unlike the Ringing Bell Strike from before. Anyway, Ringing Strike Mastery, 1 blue enchant creature. When this order enters, tap the creature. It doesn't untap. The enchanted creature has 5. Untap this creature. So, decent removal for blue, but it can be circumvented, we'll say. Good for limited. We have Sunset Strike Master, and let me tell you something. Red and 1 for a 3/1 is okay. It is also a mana dork. Tap to add a red. Red has a mana dork. What the hell? Also, a red and 2, tap it, sacrifice this creature. It deals 6 damage to target creature with flying. This thing is bonkers. This should be in every red deck. I almost think this should be in modern red. Or at least a sideboard because A, mana dork. B, 3/1. It is huge for 2 mana. Oh my god. This is going to be the sleeper of the set unless people figure out how good this thing is. Good Christ. All right, next we have Corroding Dragonstorm. So apparently there's going to be a Dragonstorm for every color, I think, from what I've seen. But this is a black and 1 enchantment. When this enchantment enters, each opponent loses 2 life. You gain 2 life, then surveil 2. When a dragon you control enters, return this enchantment to owner's hand. So you could, in essence, corrode someone to death if you can't get across with dragons. So this may be a card worth playing in standard. And it does seem fine for limited. I mean, you get to surveil 2. That's basically stacking the top of your deck. Duty Beyond Death, white and 1 instant. Additional cost to play this spell, sacrifice a creature. Wow, in white? That's weird. Creatures you control gain indestructible in a turn, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Ooh, that might be a good one for White Weenie. We'll have to wait and see. But all in all, a good card and probably great for limited. Stalwart Successor, green, black, and 1 for a 3/2 with menace. Already good. Whenever one or more counters are put on a creature you control, if it's the first time counters have been put on that creature this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. Okay, so it's not doubling or anything like that. It's only once per turn. It's fine for limited. We have Seize Opportunity, a red and 2. You get to choose one in this instant. Exile top 2 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play them, or 2 creatures get +2/+1 till the end of turn. It's okay for limited. We have Cruel Truths, black and 3, instant, surveil 2, then draw 2, then lose 2 life. Basic black draw card for limited. We have Jade Cast Sentinel, 4 colorless for a 1/5 with reach. For 2 and tapping it, put target card in the graveyard and the bottom of owner's library. This is a basic card in limited. I mean, it'll be fine if you have nothing else going on. We have Watcher of the Wayside, 3 colorless for a 3/2. When it enters, target player mills 2, and then you gain 2 life. This is a sweet limited card, but probably won't go much past that. Now, next we have the Rescue Leopard. That's right, not the goodest of boys, but the coolest of cats. Red and 2 colorless for a 4/2. Whenever this creature becomes tapped, you may discard a card. If you do, draw. It's fine for limited. I mean, what else are you going to do? Aegis Sculptor, blue and 3 for a 2/3 flyer with ward 2. Beginning of your upkeep, you may exile 2 cards from your graveyard. If you do, you can put a counter on this. Interesting. Could be good. The ability to grow it is always nice. And you don't have to exile cards if you don't want to. So this seems really good for limited, but at 4 mana, probably just doesn't do enough for standard. Undergrowth Leopard, green and 1 for a 2/2 with vigilance. Sacrifice this creature, destroy target artifact or enchantment. It is a green disenchant with legs that's going to kick your ass and then kill your shit. This is going to be, in my opinion, an all-star in Pauper, limited, commander, standard, because in standard, if you're playing green-white, Abzan, for example, black in there as well, why play disenchant when you can play disenchant with legs? And if you can't disenchant anything, that's okay. Your disenchant will proceed to whoop the opponent's ass. So, yeah, seems really good. Next, we have Riverwalk Technique. Blue and 3 instant. Choose one. Target the owner of target non-land permanent puts it on choice, top or bottom of their deck, or counter target non-creature spell. I mean, in limited, this is fine, but really not going much further than that. Banner of Glory, a white and 1 for a 2/1. During your turn, it has first strike, which is just where you want to be with this kind of card. And a white and 4. Creatures you control get +1/+1 to end of turn. This thing's amazing. Good for limited. Probably about it. Maybe Pauper. Voice of Victory, a white and 1 for a 1/3 with Mobilize 2. So when you attack with this, you get 2 tapped and attacking 1/1 red warrior creature tokens. You have to sacrifice them at the end of the turn, but also your opponents can't cast spells during your turn, which may be the best thing about this going on. Basically saying you ain't countering nothing I do. Yeah, this is going to be a very popular rare in many decks, especially hate bears. Next, we have the Rite of Renewal, green and 3 sorcery. Return up to 2 target permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand. Target player shuffles up to 4 target cards from their graveyard into their library, and then you exile this. Wow, this is amazing. 6 cards out of your graveyard, back into play. 2 immediately, and maybe you'll draw one of the other 4. Wow, that's good. Next, we have Gurmag Night Watch. This is another one of those split cards, black, green, or blue. You can substitute 2 colorless for any one of those colors. But basically, for 3 mana, you get a 3/3. When this creature enters, look at top 3 cards of your library. You may put one of those cards back on top of your library, the rest in your graveyard. Fine for limited. It's about as far as it's going to go. We have Roamer's Routine, a green and 2 sorcery. Search your library for a basic land card, put it in the battlefield tap, then shuffle. Then it has Harmonize for a green and 4. Now, you may cast this card from your graveyard for its Harmonize cost. You may tap a creature you control to reduce the power. Oh, tap the creature. Sorry, not something out of the graveyard. You tap a creature in play to reduce the cost by X colorless, where X is the power. Then you exile the spell. So this is going to be really sweet, especially limited. for mana fixing, among other things. And this is going to be really good in Commander. This will probably replace some of the land fetch spells. Next, we have Equilibrium Adept. Red and 3 for a 2/4. When the creature enters, exile top card of your library till the end of your next turn. You may play it. It has Flurry. When you cast your second spell each turn, the creature gains double strike. So, really cool, but probably only going to see limited play. Next, we have Durger Island. I don't know. Durger Island Dragon. Blue and 5 for a 4/4 flyer with Ward 2. Or as an omen, you can tap up to one target creature and draw a card. And then put this back in your deck. This is going to be very popular in standard, limited. Should I go on? I mean, 2 mana, draw a card, put this back in your deck. I see things happening. And this card is going to be the problem. Great in limited, obviously. Great in Commander. I mean, anything that says draw a card, don't punch me in the face for 1 turn, probably going to make the cut. Especially when it also could be a 4/4 flyer. Now, next we have All Out Assault. This is Mardu, black, white, red, and 2. Enchantment, creatures you control get +1/+1 and have Death Touch. When this enchantment enters, if it's your main phase, which is your first main phase, there is an additional combat phase after this phase, followed by an additional main phase. When you next attack this turn, untap each creature you control. This is an incredible mythic, and we'll probably see some play, especially in Commander, and really good in Limited, too. We have Caustic Inhale, which that looks like it. Oh, Exhale, sorry. I was like, I don't look like an Inhale. Anyway, 1 black. In addition, to cast this spell, you have to behold the dragon or pay 1. To behold the dragon, you have to choose a dragon you control or reveal one from your hand. Creature gets -3/-3. This is an amazing removal spell because it doesn't destroy. It gives negatives, which means you can kill things that are indestructible. However, it doesn't kill big stuff, and that may be an issue. But 3 is the magic number for the most part, so great for limited, and we'll have to wait and see if it sneaks its way into standard. We have Taigam, Master Opportunist, a blue and 1 for a 2/2, has Flurry. When you cast your second spell each turn, you get to copy it, then exile the spell you cast with 4 time counters on it. If it doesn't have Suspend, it gains Suspend. So basically, every spell you cast, you'll get to cast again 4 turns later when it's your second spell. Seems really good, although it doesn't seem as powerful as it could because you do have to wait 4 turns when you suspend it. But it could very easily start a, we'll say, landslide snowball effect of if they don't do something about it, turn after turn, spells are just going to go ham. Because all you got to do then is once you start this pattern going, you'll draw a spell, cast it, and then the time counter spell goes off and it suspends itself again, or the last one that you did. Like, you'll always have 2 spells late in the game because if you can get the shenanigans going, it's definitely a thing. Now, next we have Dusiat, Earth Carver. God, what a name. Green and 5 with Reach for a 4/4. When it enters, you get to it endures 3. Put 3 +1/+1 counters on it, or create a 3/3 white spirit creature token. So 6 mana for a 7/7, or a 4/4 and a 3/3. This is great for limited. I mean, it's probably as far as it's going to see action, as far as it goes, but whatever. Agent of Kotis, a blue and 1 for a 2/1. It has Renew. For a blue and 3, exile this card from your graveyard, put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature, only as a sorcery. Fine for limited. Next, we have Dragonback Lancer, white and 3 for a 3/3 flying with Mobilize. Mobilize 1, so you'll get a 1/1 warrior creature token, which is fine for limited. Easily blocked. At least this thing flies, so you can do it every turn and maybe get that extra 1 damage in. Next, we have Rakshas's Bargain. So, blue, green, black, or you can substitute 2 colors for one of those manas, so basically 3, though. Instant, look at the top 4 cards of your library, put 2 of them in your hand, the rest in your graveyard. That is an amazing draw spell. Next, we have Frostcliff Siege. Red, blue, and 1 enchantment. When it enters, choose Jeskai or Temur. Jeskai, whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. Jesus, that seems good. Or creatures you control get +1/+0 and have trample and haste. That's also not too bad. I'm not going to lie. Like, make Big Nappy. Big Nappy has haste, +1/+0, and trample. Here comes Big Nappy. So, yeah. Next, we have Marang River Regent. 2 blue and 4 colorless for a 6/7 flyer. When this creature enters, return up to 2 other target non-land permanents to their owner's hands. That's really sweet. The Omen on it, for a blue and 3, draw 3 cards, then discard a card. And then shuffle this into your library. This seems like probably the new go-to draw spell for Standard and maybe some of the other formats, definitely Commander. Next, we have Quarcy Revenant. 2 black and 1 for a 3/3 flying, Death Touch, Lifelink. Oh, they must have ran out of space in a box for more keywords. Jesus. All right, so it's got Flying, Death Touch, and Lifelink. 2 black and 1, 3/3. It has Renew. Exile the card from your graveyard, put a Flying counter, a Death Touch counter, and a Lifelink counter on target creature. Jesus, that's good. I mean, once they manage to kill this thing, you just put all these keywords on something else and just make their life miserable again. This is probably going to see play. I mean, because if you get it into the battlefield, you can renew it. And if it gets discarded, destroyed, flipped into the graveyard, still very, very dangerous. So, yeah. Next, we have Urini, the Song Unending. Red, blue, green, and 5 colorless. That's a hell of a card. For a 10/10, flying, pro white, and black. Because those are the only colors not in the card. Anyway, when it enters, it deals X damage divided any way you choose among any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers your opponent controls, where X is the number of lands you control. So, probably at least 8. Somewhere. So, it does cost a lot. It has a great effect. Only happens one time, but it is a 10/10 flyer. And there's not a lot of removal that can deal with this thing because, well, white and black's about your only options for destroy target creature. And that ain't happening when it's got protection. I mean, I guess green can do it, but like, Jesus, this thing's a beast. Next, we have Urini's Rebuff. Blue and 1, return target creature to owner's hand. Also has Harmonize, so you can cast it from your graveyard, so a double bounce spell. This is going to be very, very popular in Standard and in Limited. This is really, really good removal. It is a sorcery, however, which is the one downside, but other than that, I mean, having a bounce spell you can cast twice in one card at different times is just insane. Next, we have Sidisi, Regent of the Mire, black 1 for a 1/3. Sacrifice a creature you control with mana value X, where X with mana value X other than Sidisi, so he can't sack himself. Return target creature card, mana value X +1 from your graveyard to the battlefield. That's kind of cool. That's a real cheap reanimate effect. Probably going to see that in Standard in some way, shape, or form. Next, we have Kotis, the Thangkeeper. Blue, green, black, and 1 for a 2/1 indestructible. This is why the -3/-3 thing's important. Anyway, Zombie Warrior. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, exile top X cards of their library, where X is the amount of damage dealt. You may cast any number of those spells with mana value X or less from among them without paying their mana cost. Luckily, it only starts out as a 2/1. But all it's going to take is one giant growth for this shit to get out of hand. I'm just saying. So, moving on. Next, we have Anafenza's back, the Unyielding Lineage. So, this Anafenza is a white and 2 for a 2/2 flash first strike. And yes, flash makes a difference. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, Anafenza endures 2, which basically means you put 2 counters on it or make a 2/2 white spirit token. So either make dudes or make big dude. Take your pick. Seems very powerful. So now we have Neriv, Heart of the Storm. This is the Mardu one. Black, white, red, and 1 for a 4/5 flyer. That's an amazing price. If a creature you control that entered this turn would deal damage, it deals twice as much damage instead. So this is telling me if you're playing dragons, you want some hasty stuff. But to be fair, in standard and limited, a 4-mana 4/5 flyer is just bonkers. Yeah, this is gonna see play. Next we have Beator, Kin to All, green, black, white, and 2 for a 5/7 flyer. Jesus. Beginning of your end step, if creatures you control have a toughness 10 or greater, draw a card. That won't be hard since this thing already has a 7. Anyway, then if creatures you control have total toughness 20 or greater, untap each creature you control. Then if creatures you control have toughness 40 or greater, each opponent loses half their life rounded up. This thing is going to be a menace in Commander. And to be fair, for 5 mana, this is going to be a limited all-star. And we'll probably see standard play because it's going to be really hard to kill this damn thing. It's huge. A big old booty. Next we have Rediscover the Way. Jeskai, white, blue, red. Saga with 3 things. First, 2 sagas. Look at top 3 cards in your library, put one of them in your hand, the rest on the bottom random order. That is amazing. So for 3 mana, you get to basically brainstorm, or you get to impulse, really. First turn, second turn, impulse again for free. Then on the third turn, whenever you cast a non-creature spell this turn, target creature you control gains double strike. Not so hot. But, hey, first 2 parts of the saga, definitely worth it if you can't use the third still. Our boy is back. It is the Ugin, Eye of the Storms. So, buckle up, Buttercup. I've already read this, and it's ugly. 7 colorless, 7 loyalty. Static abilities. When you cast this spell, exile up to 1 target permanent that's 1 or more colors. Whenever you cast a colorless spell, exile up to 1 target permanent that's 1 or more colors. This is Ugin the Eldrazi. What the hell? Its actual abilities: tick up, gain 3 life, draw a card. That's not broken or nothing. 0, gain 3 colorless mana, Eldrazi again. That like Eldrazi Dark Rituals. And -11, search your library for any number of colorless non-land cards, Eldrazi. Exile them, shuffle, until end of turn. You may cast those cards without paying their mana cost. Cast. This is going to be the new Karn as you lay the Ugmeister, proceed to jack up your opponent, try to get to 11, and then search through your whole deck and get your Ulamogs and all that stuff. Start casting them for free and just wreck your opponent's face. This is going to be a modern all-star. Maybe even great for legacy and vintage style, things like show and tell. And if there's a way to get this on the battlefield relatively early, or even hold off somebody long to get this on the battlefield in standard, it's going to be a powerhouse. God, this thing's so busted. Like, if they do this with, like, Jace once, I mean, they've really shit on Jace. I'm sorry, I'm getting on a tangent. Anyway. So, next we have Elspeth, Stormslayer. 2 white and 3 for a 5 loyalty Elspeth. Boy, here we go. Buckle up. If 1 or more tokens would be created under your control, twice that many are created instead. Already good. +1, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token, i.e. make 2. 0, +1/+1 counter on each creature control. They gain flying till next turn. Now you can't block them. -3, destroy target creature and opponent controls, mana value 3 or greater. Removal. This thing. Who's making these planeswalkers? And holy cow, has anybody got these guys in check? Jesus. We can't even get a busted Jace or a busted Sarkhan. This is absurd. You see the favoritism is? Good God. Anyway. Next we have Maelstrom of the Spirit Dragon. Taps for a colorless, Eldrazi. Also taps for 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana only to cast dragon or omen spells. Ugh. 4 colorless. Sacrifice this land, search your library for a dragon card, reveal it, put it to your hand. I still just see Eldrazi here. I mean, look, like the Hedrons are even floating around. Like, really? Did they summon Ugin's evil twin brother, not Nicol Bolas? Like, ooh. Anyway, moving on. We have Rolling Dragonstorm, red and 1. When the enchantment enters, you get to draw 2, discard 1, which is pretty good for 2. When a dragon enters, you get to pick this up, so you can use it again. Very sweet card. Probably will see lots of play. Crater Hoof Behemoth reprint. Have you ever in your life thought you see a Crater Hoof in Standard again? 3 green, 5 colorless, 5/5 with haste. When the creature enters, creatures you control gain trample +X/+X, where X is the number of creatures you control. And to be fair, this picture is very, very on par with what this looks like when someone casts against you. Jesus. This is going to open up a whole can of worms in Standard. Oh, my Lord. Anyway, I guess we'll finish on that because how do you beat Craterhoof Behemoth in Standard? I mean, other than like, the Ugin Eldrazi card anyhow. Yeah, shout out to Sawyer. Hope you enjoyed the spoilers because this stuff is bonkers. Till next time, be kind, and as always, I hope to see you crossing the game table. And with these kind of cards, God knows what's coming across the table. Jesus.